One of the things we did, this is devastating that COVID came and really, because we work with a lot of kids that come from interstate. Most people in Adelaide, we do nearby adventures, right? Because we want them to experience their own state. We also get a lot of funding of people flying from Queensland or New South Wales, and that's where we do our expeditions. And so, because of the lack of interstate travel restrictions in Australia, we haven't had expeditions since early last year when COVID really came on the map. And excuse me. And so um, one of the things we implemented in mid 2018, that if you have a group at your workplace, even if you do this with just the like-minded ones of you, or if this entire group does it together, what we did is every Monday morning, the whole team meets at my house because I we work from home. So meets at my house in my dining room table. So that might be 3 to 4 social workers, 3 to 4 social work students or psychology students, people doing a field placement or an internship, maybe some outdoor ed adventure staff. We sit down and one person talks about our mission for the day or for the week, sorry. And so, but you can't just read the mission statement. It's got to be like 1 minute. This all has to be short, otherwise, you'll stop doing it because it's too boring. 1 minute, our mission. We're going to be the most engaging youth service in the world this week. We are going to be something like that, big and grandiose, right? Not we're going to do adventure therapy competently. That's too boring. Then you're still Monday morning, you're having tea and coffee and biscuits and whatever you're eating. And then each of you in a journal, write down, you have a journal piece of paper with a line through the middle. Monday is one side, Friday is the other side. You write down the length of a Twitter tweet. So we're talking 200 characters, one sentence, 1 to 2 sentences, not a long thing. How are you going to achieve that mission? What are you going to, and it has to be what you're going to do. We're not talking like, I'm going to be my best. One thing you're going to do differently to help you be whatever, the best practitioner in the world, the most client-centered person, the most trauma-informed person in the world. One thing you're going to do. Ideally, it's measurable. We all know about SMART goals and specific, measurable, those kind of things. So something you can say at the end of the week, did I do it? Write it down. Every day you're going through, you're like, I've got to take this goal, got to take this goal. Then you get Friday night. You finished your work week. Friday afternoon, the team comes. We often buy beer and wine. You have whatever adult drink that you want to have. And we get together. You do one quick reflection. How'd you go with your goal? And then each of us write down in the Friday column of the piece of paper one mistake we made. Now, this is what you have to have, a culture that is okay with this. Because if you hide your mistakes, you're not doing this activity right. If you think you're a practitioner who doesn't make mistakes, you're lying to yourself. So it usually, if we have new social work students and I'm the big scary boss, I'll go first. One time I said, I'm driving with a client who bushfires have greatly affected their house, their property. And and I'm talking to this young person and I said, should we go have a campfire and cook lunch over a fire today? And he says, no, I think it's a fire ban. And I said, how could it be a fire ban? It's pretty cold out. First off, the weather has nothing to do with if a bushfire can start. It has to do with the conditions, right? When Donald Trump was trying to do the bushfires in California, he said, I assume it will get pretty cold and the fires will go. I did a Trumpism. I literally did a Trump in a session with a client. And so you have to have people modeling what a mistake is. So I didn't think about what I was saying. So I'm like, Be better at thinking about what you do. Okay, everybody goes around, talks about how bad they are at their job. The reason is being bad makes you better. And you can't do this every 6 months or once a year. You'll forget every mistake. The only reason I remember I made a Trumpism is because I wrote it down. Monday morning comes around again. When you write down your goal for that week, it has to address the mistake you made last week. So one person says the mission, and then you need to write down what you're going to do to not make that mistake again, or how you're going to address it, right? Sometimes that might be, I need to go get more training on trauma informed. I don't really get it. It might be, I need to go to my supervisor and ask for advice, but you have to do it that week. Here's the coolest thing about this. At the end of 1 year, you have 52 things you did to try and get better at your job. And if you don't have a view or a snapshot of where you're heading as a practitioner, it's easy to be stuck in theoretical la land. I'm just going to be better at theory. Theory doesn't do this job, people do. So get a like-minded group where you can ask for help, people you can call that will give you free advice. Screw paying for good advice. People will give it to you. Pay for good supervision, get good advice from your friends. If someone says they only give advice for money, they're not even worth your time. That means their advice sucks that bad. If they have that much advice, they should be able to give some away for free. But write down your shortcomings. And this is the amazing thing. Just doing that has evidence behind it to leading you to be more effective. Just doing that, though, requires more discipline than getting a degree, than working every day with clients. You can't get surgeons to get better at their job. And competence is death. Just being competent means you think you're good enough. So write down your shortcomings and really address them. What I'm going to do in these minute little details. And if you're not bored doing that task, you're not doing it correctly. Because trying to get better, you have to be bored. Think about being a musician. Learning a new scale is so boring. Learning how to serve a tennis racket or to bowl a cricket ball faster. It's hard work. It takes repetition, you know? So I think that's my wish for adventure therapy is we have more organizations getting together every day and going, here's how bad I was this week. And I feel safe doing it. I'm not going to be judged by my boss because my boss is going to have my back and want me to get better, to be in the corner of getting better. If you think you're already good enough or you have the answers, then we're in a dangerous situation where, scarily, what the research tells us is you're more likely to get worse. So the less we do to be critical, the more likely we are to get worse at our job. So we need to stay on top of it, stay critical, because our clients with the most at stake will want a therapist who is working all the time to be better at the job.